Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and yes, I am back after a week hiatus. Good to see you all here again. I see a few people in the chat, both on TikTok and in YouTube. I appreciate all of your support here. I see a few of you already coming in. Thank you very much, Sandy B. I see you. Hey, how you doing? We're just going through some things right now, and hey, Dominique, I see you as well. How you doing as well? What we're going to be talking about tonight is what I feel the Raiders should be doing post June 1st. And I'll explain why June 1st is significant. We'll get to that, of course. What are the puzzle pieces we need to win a championship? Of course, we were actually 10-7 last season, went to the wild card game, of course, lost in the first round. That's after all the drama, all the craziness that happened last year. So I think it was a winning season overall, literally and figuratively, given all the problems we had during the year. So if you are new to this, and if you are liking this, hit the like button, subscribe, share it, follow on TikTok. Of course, we're broadcasting simultaneously on TikTok as well as YouTube, and I appreciate you all coming in and joining us here. But if you're new to the program, we do things a little bit differently here. We have what we call here the rundown. We have the topics we're going to be talking about. And then, of course, at the end, we always have a Q&A session with you. That's what matters. This is why we're here, to have discussions on the topic we're going to be talking about. So let's first go over this, though, and that is our new subscribers.
I hear everyone say, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, as far as new subscribers or new champions, a little bit stalled on the YouTube side. If you were here last time, something going on with YouTube. Like I said, though, if you like this, share it, spread the word. Also, with TikTok, though, it is actually growing here, and I am over 1,400 followers. It's like subscribers for those of you on the YouTube side. So we are getting some exposure. We are getting some exposure not only on the live streams, but also the videos that I put out there. I appreciate every single one of you, and thank you. I see Mark Thomas in here. What's happening with you? How are you doing as well as Raider Wolf? So I always want to acknowledge the new subscribers, and of course those longtime subscribers and fans that come here. Now let's get to what we normally get to with our first segment, and that is the poll of the week. Now, I wasn't here last week, so I actually had two polls of the week, one before and then one this week. And let's get to that first one. And I asked about Colin Kaepernick and what your thoughts were, because the Raiders actually brought him in for a workout session. And I wanted to know what you guys thought. Should we sign this guy or not? Or you weren't sure? And about half of you said no. I agree with that. I think he's been out of football too long, number one. Number two, more importantly, he brings just too much drama and everything going on. No matter what your opinion is on the the social justice aspect of things, we don't need that. We already had somebody kill somebody. We had our coach be fired amidst some crazy email conspiracy. Our GM's gone. We have a new regime, and frankly, we just don't need that drama, in my opinion. Hello, Earth Daughter. I see you in here as well. The other poll of the week that I had for this week pertaining to the show here is I wanted to talk about June 1st. Now, June 1st with the league, they have little rules regarding salary cap. Now, we were going to cut Carl Nassib and Littleton already, but we designated it for after June 1st. That way we can save more on the cap. We saved nearly $20 million on those two cuts, and we'll get into the details in a minute. And I asked you, what free agent should we target after June 1st? And I gave some items. I also put in another, And you guys said Darrell Williams, the right tackle, formerly of the Buffalo Bills. Right behind him, though, Ndamukong Suh, the nose tackle, went second overall to Detroit, won a Super Bowl with Tampa. And I'll get to what I think, and we're going to get to that, and also what the cap implications are for these guys. I'm going to have an estimate for that. And let's do that right now. So let's get into these missing pieces, because do we feel that we are a championship team yet? I'm not so sure. I think with this cap room that we've instituted, I think we can go out and get a couple key pieces to get us over the hump here. So, of course, we always start on the defensive side. Now, I just brought this over. If you remember my previous live streams here, this was before and then after the draft. I've just added the players and subtracted those that are no longer with the team so we can have an idea of where we stand. As far as the defense goes, we could go a number of ways, but the first thing I want to do is cover this. Now, this is a spending breakdown, basically, of how we're spending our salary cap. Now, this is just for the active players. This isn't people we've cut and taken dead cap hits. These are players that are on the active roster as far as breakdown offense, defense, and also by position. So as far as the defense goes, we could spin a number of ways. The defensive tackle, we're a little lacking here. Maybe it's safety. I don't think there's a big need at safety right now. We have some young guys there, of course, with Abram and Trayvon Merrick there as far as playing on their rookie contract still. That's probably why it's a little bit lower than you would think at other positions. And then I want to talk about some available free agents or unrestricted free agents. I didn't want to go through the whole thing about a restricted free agent and trying to trade for him and making deals and all that other nonsense. These are some of the guys, and I did put that in my poll of the week, and that includes Ndamukong Suh. So I'll just go through these right now. So you got Ndamukong Suh, kind of on the back end of his career, still got I think he's still got enough in the tank for at least one more year. This would obviously be a rental. He made about $8-9 million last year. I'm guessing that would be our cost on the cap this year if we were to sign him. I think it's doable. And I'll say this. Now, I did say the cap right now, according to Spot Track, they have us at $22.2 million under the cap. Now, you have to take into account a couple things, though. Number one is we have not signed all of our draft picks yet. There are 2 draft picks that are remaining. That's Zamir White and Neil Farrell Jr. And their Spot Track's estimating about $1.5 million to $2 million to sign both of those combined, hitting us on our salary cap for 2022. Then we got to talk about Hunter Renfrow. We have still not extended him yet. He's $2.6 million on the cap. I'm thinking, oh, well, Spot Track has him valued at $17 million. I think that's a little bit high, to be honest with you. But I'm thinking we could backload a contract and probably give him at least $3 to $4 million more this year. And if you take that away from the salary cap, that really gives us about $16-17 million to play with to go get some of these unrestricted free agents. I see you in here as well. I'll answer some of your questions. So, what drama has Cap brought? Really? Have you been watching any football the last few years? I mean, is that a serious question? Come on. All right. Give me a break. So we're going to go with the Ndamukong Suh. I think for a 1-year rental, I think that's all right. So like I said, we have about 16 or 17 million really to play with right here. I talked about Dante Hightower and Anthony Barr, kind of an inside guy, an outside guy. I think they'll probably go for about 8-9 million each. We could go after one of those. I don't think we should go after both. And then I put Larry Ogunjobi here again. Now, originally I had him at about 8 million. I'm not going to argue about Kaepernick. This is ridiculous. So if you don't think he's controversial, I don't know what you're talking about. Seriously. So we're just going to move on with that. Larry Ogunjobi, I had him originally at probably about 8 million. Now, he did go and quote-unquote sign with the Bears, but he failed the physical. He had that foot injury in our game, in the wild card game against Cincinnati. Last month in May, he went and visited the Jets. He did not sign there, so he's still out there. If he is healthy, we could probably get him, I'm guessing, for about $6.5 million. and we could probably get him a 2 or 3 year deal. Remember, he's 28 years old. He's pretty good at defensive tackling, and he's also versatile. I talked about that. He could also play the nose position if we need him as well. So if he's healthy, I would love to get him. I keep talking about him, I know that, but I think he'd be worthwhile to get on the defense. Now on the offensive side of the ball, I put the names that are gone here. And yes, I did put Dylan Parham here at starting center. I do believe he will be our starting center. I've said this before, and there's some rumors that he will be. As far as Alex Leatherwood goes, I think he's going to be our starting right tackle right now. And I'll get into that just a little bit with these offensive free agents. And as far as his OTAs go, the reports from Josh McDaniels here is that he was predominantly a right tackle, but they moved players all around just to see where they were. Again, it is early, but this is my prediction right now as far as the line. We could be cutting good and saving a few million and putting one of these other guys in at guard. I could see that as well. So let's get into the available unrestricted free. I put a few, there's plenty more, but I wanted to kind of break this down. I think as far as the offensive side of the ball goes, you can see we spent more money on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, we have Colton Miller, we've extended Derek Carr, and of course Devontae Adams. And I would say the biggest hole obviously we have, or the biggest question mark right now, is right tackle. So I put a couple names here, proven kind of guys, Darrell Williams, who I had in the poll of the week, and Brian Bulaga, another guy kind of long in the tooth. I'm estimating, based on previous contracts, this is probably about how much we're going to have to spend on the cap to get these guys for 2022. I would say we could go that route, or we could go kind of more of a rental, a decent type of player like a Mike Remmers, who played with the Chiefs, played decently, or Bobby Massey. I've talked about him before as far as the Denver Broncos, and I'm guessing it would be about $3.5 million towards the hit. And I had to bring in OBJ. A lot of people are talking about OBJ now. Spot Track has him valued at $13 million. There's no way in hell he's going to get $13 million this year. He's coming off an ACL injury in the Super Bowl. How many games are we actually going to get from this guy if we do sign him? And if so, is he really going to be 100%? I don't think so. I would say avoid him. I think we spent enough money at the wide receiver position right now. We got guys like Keenan Cole, Demarcus Robinson. There's also some talk about Will Fuller. I think he's probably going to demand about $10 million. He'd be a decent addition, but I'm not so sure if we should spend that kind of money. We have bigger priorities to fill. So I'm thinking if we are going to go get one of these free agents, it's going to be at the right tackle position, and it's going to be decided on what this regime thinks of Alex Leatherwood. If they do have confidence in him, I could see them getting kind of a short-term kind of veteran guy to back him up just in case, spend less money, and maybe go out and get a Ndamukong Suh or spend more money at Hightower or Anthony Barr that we talked about on the defensive side. If they're not confident with Alex Leatherwood playing right tackle, I could see them going and making a run at Darrell Williams, obviously, and they do have the money to do it. So I think that's going to be up to what the regime's going to think. Personally, I think I could totally see them getting a guy like this, relying on Leatherwood to be the right tackle as your day one starter, and then getting this guy as a backup. But I want to know what you have to think, or what you have to say about this. I'm looking in the chat right now. I see a few of you already in TikTok. I see a bunch of you in YouTube, and I do appreciate that. I want to know what you have to say about the free agents that are available, the post June 1st free agents. We did clear some cap room. Like I said, realistically, it's going to be about 16 or 17 million because we still have to sign the last two rookies. And another thing with OBJ, I mean, how can we sign him without first extending Hunter Renfrow? To me, that'd be kind of a slap in the face. Renfro's earned the money, you know. OBJ's on the back end of his career. Will Fuller's never had a 1,000-yard season. Renfrow had it last season, and I think we should get him extended first, even if we are going to go after another wide receiver option. But personally, I wouldn't do that. I would go with what we have now, and then maybe buffer the right tackle, nose tackle position, or a linebacker. Let's see what you guys have to say right now. Hang on. So which free agents do you want us to sign here? Put it in the comments, and I will get to those right now. I do appreciate the likes. I do appreciate all of the hearts that are going on right now on the TikTok side. Thank you very much. Some talk about free Gruden, says Raider Wolf. That's going to be interesting. If you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. There's a lot of smoke about Roger Goodell kind of being in trouble with the way he's handled that whole investigation with Washington, and how only the emails related to Gruden, our team, actually came out, and none of the other ones. I think that's total bullshit, and it's going to be very interesting. I think he could be in trouble. I think Daniel Snyder was definitely going to be in trouble with this. So let's see what else he said. Raider Wolf said, I mean, I like the new regime better, but I like Gruden's intensity. I've talked about this before. I love his old school, but it's a double-edged sword. I think the game's kind of passed him by. I think he was being outcoached. Like I said, I've done those grading Gruden videos. If you want to look back in the past, I broke down each season, who we picked up, who we released, the draft picks. I went over those, and then how we did statistically throughout that season. And to me, it looked like he was kind of getting outcoached in second half of games and the second half of the season. So, like I said, I love his intensity, the fire. I would love for him to be vindicated. And even if we offered him a front office position with the team, I don't think that's going to happen with Mark Davis. Given what was said in those emails, Mark Davis is kind of very woke, you know. So I don't think that would happen, but I like his intensity. I loved his first time go around. I was optimistic this time, but as the draft picks kind of came in and he brought in Mike Mayock, basically another analyst, it just kind of fell apart. And honestly, it was kind of a blessing in disguise what happened. I think he got screwed over, of course. And I know he got a settlement with the Raiders because it was a $100 million guaranteed contract, but good for him to go after the NFL to sue them, because I think the league did him wrong, and like they normally do the Raiders. Knock on wood. I'll give a little knock for Gruden. Like I said, I love his intensity. Let's see. Controversial to who? I'm not talking about Kaepernick. No, I'm not talking about Kaepernick. It's not going to happen. It's obvious the controversies out there and what happened. So personally, I don't think he could bring much on the football field. And honestly, if McDaniels did and Ziegler did, they would have been giving him a contract right now. So all word right now is that nothing's going to come about it. We need to get better corners or kick-ass right tackle. That's why I put Trey Waynes there. He's probably the best available of the bunch. I'm thinking he's going to cost us about $12 million on the cap. We can afford him, former Cincinnati Bengal, but we're not going to be able to get much else. If we could get him and one of those cheaper right tackles, I think, and that would probably be about it. So getting him and OBJ and Sue, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen unless we cut back. And if we cut back and we don't extend Hunter Renfrow, which I think would be insane. I mean, to me, that's probably one of the top priorities right now. If you're not comfortable with Leatherwood at right tackle, that's the top priority. Otherwise, I would say getting Renfrow extended would be our top priority right now. Let's see. Exactly, my man. That's what I'm saying. We need a right tackle. Again, you could argue the whole offensive line, with the exception of Colton Miller, is in flux right now. Let's face it. We're not sure what's going to be happening. Dylan Parham looks more like a center to me than a guard. And honestly, he could very well be the starter day one. They've already there's a lot of positive things in OTAs. Again, it's OTAs. They're not in pads. They put the helmet and shorts on. They do the drills. But there's been favorable notice with him already early on. And next week, they're going to be having their mini camp. And that starts Tuesday, June 7th. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And we'll probably be talking about that next week. Anything significant. Plus, again, it's June 3rd now. We haven't signed anybody. We freed up that cap for 2 days now. Maybe we're waiting and negotiating. Who knows what's happening. This regime likes to kind of take its time. Remember, we were kind of, once free agency opened, we're like, well, what are these guys going to do? What are these guys going to do? Boom. All of a sudden, bam, we got Chandler Jones. Bam, we traded off Yannick Ngakoue. Bam, we got Devontae Adams. So I'm going to trust the new regime. but we'll probably sign at least one new guy between now and the next live stream on Friday. Corner help again, Mark Thomas. Yeah, we could go there. I would prefer to get put the money towards like an Ndamukong Suh or a Larry Ogunjobi, somebody who can pressure up the middle, and they're versatile. I know Suh can go and rush on the outside as well, but I think his bread and butter is more of a 3 technique. Ogunjobi can do the 3. He can do the 1-0, the nose, and I think Patrick Graham would like that. I'm really concerned because Ogunjobi went to the Jets, worked out with them, didn't get a deal. Maybe something's going on with the foot, something else. Nothing's really being said. I couldn't find anything on it, but he's a very dynamic player. I'd love to have him, and he's 28 years old. He's got at least 2 or 3 more good years left in him. Sandy B says, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's see, make sure your bell notifications check on all. And I'm just checking some of the TikTok, kind of the same kind of thing, sentiments that are being said about right tackle. I agree with that. Subscribe if you're on TikTok. Go ahead and follow and set your notifications. That's the big thing, because I generally set these in the morning before, the morning of, and then that way you'll know. So you won't miss anything here if you're either watching this late and missed what we talked about, or if you're watching this on a replay. Why not join us live and interact with us? This is the best part of it all. And we had do all kinds of little things. We do the mock drafts. We do the schedule predictions. That was pretty interesting as well. So we're going to hit that again right before the season starts as well, once we get into the preseason. Let's see. Dominique says, I want Darrell Williams, Eddie Goldman, Trey Flowers, and Eric Flowers. We could probably get 2 or 3 of those guys, especially with Darrell Williams. He's probably going to command at least 9 or 10 million. And like I said, we probably have about 16 right now. Again, we need to extend Hunter Renfrow. That's my opinion. He's on the last year of his contract. I don't want to let him go. He is a solid slot receiver, arguably the best slot receiver not named Cooper Kupp. We need to pay the man. One of the I'm not going to say one of the few. Well, yeah, one of the few good draft picks by the old regime. Sandy B says, yes. Yes, I said Williams before. Diane the Ed in TikTok has sent a donut. I guess you can send little gifts, right? You guys on the YouTube side. Relatively new with the TikTok stuff. I appreciate that. Diane also says, happy National Donut Day. Donuts. Like Homer. I appreciate that, though. Thank you very much. And thanks for all the likes. Let's see. Raider Wolf says, yes, sir. Our team has improved a lot, and I love it. I can't wait for the season to begin. I am, too. If you haven't caught, I'm not sure if you saw the live stream with our schedule predictions. I put them out for both. I did my own, and then I got your guys' opinion as a consensus. I would look at that. We've got an actually harder schedule, obviously. Last year we played the NFC East or East. This season we play the NFC West, arguably the best division, if you're not saying it's our division. I mean, they had 3 teams in the playoffs and 2 teams in the NFC Championship game. So let's see. So it's going to be difficult. We got a short week with the Rams late in the season. A couple tough games with the Chiefs, of course. Let's see. Raider Wolf also says, right tackle is crucial. We need to give Derek time to throw the ball. I mean, with all these weapons, somebody's bound to be open. I agree. And I remember we picked up DeMarcus Robinson for like a couple million, basically for a song. And I don't know if you remember him. He was on the Chiefs before, and he's kind of a pain in the neck. I think the guy thrives. They had Tyreek, they had Kelsey, so it's gonna be the same situation with Waller and Devontae. So this guy's going to be getting open. I really don't think we need to bring in another wide receiver at this time. Maybe somebody on the cheap if Deshaun Jackson was to come in for like $1 million or $2 million, so we get some more speed. I could maybe see that, but other than that, I don't want to spend any serious money on wide receiver. If we're anything on the offensive side of the ball, it's going to be at the line, to be honest with you. Let's see. I do want to extend Hunter. Let's see. Yeah, how is your shoulder, Dominique? I know you had that surgery for it. How are you doing with that? I want to know about that as well. Oh, I see a crown. I'm looking at TikTok, so I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. So you can see my addresses here, right here, for the various social media. I mean, I could go to more, but I mean, I don't want to do too many. I want to kind of focus on certain ones, but those are my social media outlets if you want to look me up on those platforms. Let's see. Again, Diane sent a crown. I appreciate that. And you are the top one viewer. I appreciate that as well. We've got 2,900 likes in TikTok. Let me see how many likes I have here. 8 likes on YouTube. We need to get that up a little bit more. Appreciate that. And also, again, if you are enjoying this, why not give it a thumbs up? Like it. Follow me. Subscribe on YouTube. That way you're notified of all of these new live streams I do. I do them just about every Friday. And then when the season starts, I do a game preview. And I go over the strengths and weaknesses and the keys to the game. And then I also do a halftime live show for about 10 or 15 minutes. And I give my good, the bad, and the ugly, if you weren't here last season, of what I saw in the first half. And then we go watch the second half of the game, and then we do a game review, usually on Monday night, the day after the game. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of emotion too, especially a couple of those games. The Giants game comes to mind, the Bears game. If you want to see me get excited, go to my archives and look up the Chicago Bears game review. I was not too kind to certain players, Brandon Parker, as well as John Gruden. And that was right before he fired. I honestly probably knew he was going to be gone anyway. That's my thought. Let's see what you guys also have to say here. Let's see. 3,500 likes. I appreciate that. The Bears. Yeah, the Bears. Yeah. They got rid of Akeem Hicks. Let me put that back up here. Let's see. He signed with the Rams, right? I believe he signed with the Rams, yeah. So he's kind of an older version of Ogunjobi, in my opinion. Starting to break down a little bit. He had that groin injury, missed about half the season. If you remember my initial free agency, I had him as a possible. I was kind of leery about that, though. Like he said, he's like 32 years old, starting to break down now. Still a good player in his prime, but you don't want to pay for past performance. And again, this is why I feel we need to secure Hunter Renfrow, one of the best slot receivers in the league. Team him up with Devontae and Waller, and let's see. And like Raider Wolf said, all we have to do is give Derek Carr time now. And honestly, I think Zeus Zamir White is going to be taking over the RB1 position probably as soon as the second half of the season. Obviously, we didn't extend Josh Jacobs, that 5th-year extension, so he's going to be gone next year. I do not see us signing him. He's probably going to go to another team. And Zamir White's going to be our top guy. A lot better, about 70%. Good. So what else do you guys want to talk about besides free agency? Do you want to talk about what's next in the season? What we're looking at? Again, we've only had voluntary OTAs. That's organized team activities. But I tried to look for an actual list of who showed and who didn't. They just said it was good attendance. Not everybody showed, but overall great attendance this year for the Raiders. Next week is a mandatory mini camp. Again, what's going to happen is they're going to come, they're going to put the helmets on and, just kind of work out, do drills, no real contact, and then kind of work on plays and study and, of course, conditioning that 3 days. We're not really going to see the pads come on and any kind of real contact till probably middle of training camp. And usually training camp's at the end of July, but we're in the Hall of Fame game on the 4th. So they allow those teams to start training camp about a week or so early. So there's no set date on that yet. I'll get that to you when I get that to you. So Who are you going for in the NBA Finals? The Celtics or Warriors? Well, I mean, I rooted for the Lakers when I was young, so I don't know if I can root for either team, to be honest with you. You have the divisional rival, and then you have the longtime rival. So I think if the Celtics win, they tie the all-time lead at 18, right? 18 championships. So I guess I'd have to root for the Warriors then, right? I wouldn't want them to tie the Lakers. Who are you rooting for, Dominique? My life is joined. Hey, Kim Toombs, how are you doing? If you have any questions there, you guys coming in right now. We just talked about, on TikTok, we just talked about free agent options post June 1st and how much cap space we have, given that we need to sign 2 more draft picks, Zamir White and Neil Farrell Jr., as well as extending Hunter Renfrow. So if you have any questions based on that or any comments on free agents you would like us to sign right now to put us over the hump, put those in the comments right now. Let's see. Hey G, how you doing? I see you in here as well. And I am very excited to be seeing you on Sunday and Tuesday night. Finally a little bit of competition, right? Let's see. Dominique says, yes, I'm a Laker fan. The only reason I'm going for the Celtics is because Tatum is from my hometown, St. Louis. Okay, but I mean, I'm kind of an older guy. I remember the Lakers-Celtics battles in the 80s. It's hard for me to root for the Celtics, to be honest with you. I think the Warriors are probably more of a recent rival, but a long-time rival, of course, is Boston. Hey, G. I'm just looking in the chat here. I say, hey, G, yes. Yeah, I hope you're ready for Sunday. So we're just doing some side talk about some trivia contests that we do on Sunday and Tuesday. I also have a couple of other channels, one of which is called TNV Trivia. If you're into trivia, that kind of thing, go check it out on YouTube. On TikTok, it's called Games People Play, GPP, if you want to look into that. Mark Thomas says, Ndamukong Suh. You know, I was kind of leery. I talked about Ndamukong Suh last season because he was a free agent, and then Tampa signed him for an additional year. That was right after they won the Super Bowl. I think he's got another year left in the tank. I think it kind of makes more and more sense. I think if we can pay him like $8 or $9 million, we could still have cap space to do one or two other things, which makes sense. Plus, we have a lot of youth, right, on that defensive line. So, and of course, his playmaking skills, pass rushing, he can bull rush guards with ease. I mean, he can even take on tackles, and they're much bigger, of course. But I think giving him like a 1-year deal, like a rental deal, like Tampa has done the last 2 years, it would make sense. I would not be totally against it. I would rather have Ogunjobi for like a 3-year deal if he's healthy, but something's going on with him. Now we've had 2 teams shy away from him, so that's unfortunate. JT Money says, facts. No more than $8 or $9 million for Sue. Makes no sense to pay him more than Tampa. Oh, absolutely not. We have to get away from that. That was the old school where we would have to overpay to get free agents in here, give a bunch of first round picks to get get trades in here. We have a better system. We have a better regime. And frankly, it's more of a favorable location for a number of reasons. Now, Oakland has all the history, the Bay Area, but the stadium was falling apart. I talked about that. The toilets overrunning. I mean, we have a new state-of-the-art stadium. It is in Nevada, Las Vegas, as long as people can behave themselves. And we've had some problems with that. Nate Hobbs, Josh Jacobs, Ruggs. So if they can behave themselves, but also if you don't know, Nevada has no state tax, and California's is about 9 or 10%. So that's a discount right there. So if you sign a $30 million deal, you're saving $3 million right there, right off the top, playing in Nevada as residency versus California. So a lot more favorable location now. Plus the team's winning. We're 10-7. We're right on the cusp. I think we're kind of caught up with the Chiefs. and I think the other two teams have as well. It's going to be a dogfight in this division. It's going to be very exciting to watch all the games, not just the Raider games, but the other AFC West games. Yes, don't overpay for him though. No, I don't think that's going to happen, Mark. Because we've got the new regime, and that's probably why, back in the day, 5-10 years ago, plus, we probably would have signed him yesterday or the day, right at the June 1st, right when we had the cap space, and given him 15-20 million or some nonsense. I could have seen that. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. JT Money says right now we should get away with paying him 6 until it balances out. Well, he was making about 9 million the last 2 seasons with Tampa, so I don't think he's going to take a pay cut, to be honest with you. If he's going to do that, why not stay with Tampa? I know they drafted a defensive tackle, I think, in the 3rd round, but still, I mean, if he's going to do that, why not stay there instead of coming here? Especially with Tom Brady coming back. Let's see. You guys are funny. Some side conversations going on in TikTok. Some people are in both. I do appreciate that too. It's kind of a double dip. Thank you for being at both locations. Thank you though. Yes, no taxes in Vegas evens it out. It's about a 10% difference. At least in California. It might be a little less because I'm in California. We get taxed to death here, so we're one of the highest as far as state tax. I think Connecticut's the highest, but we're up there, at least top 5. So yeah, we'll see. Again, I trust this new regime. They've been making some moves. There was, like I said, when the initial free agency started happening in March, things were kind of quiet. We were like, what the heck are they doing? Are we going to be getting anybody? And then boom, 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 everything kind of fell into place. So Sandy B says we're 10% at least. She's in Illinois. So yeah, they're highly taxed as well. Let's see. You guys have anything else you want to say? Like I said, next week, we'll go next Friday. We're going to talk about the mini camp, the mandatory mini camp, 3 days this week, starting on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll talk about that. Any kind of news, any kind of rumors. I'm figuring we're going to sign at least one of these players that we talked about here in the live stream, maybe 2. Again, this regime's a little more methodical, which I appreciate. They haven't made a whole lot of decisions that I questioned, except maybe, like I said, the Brandon Parker re-signing. And but we got Thayer Munford, I'm hoping, in the 7th round, an Ohio State guy. Again, 7th round, I think that's extreme value. And if he could be our swing tackle, don't be surprised if Brandon Parker doesn't get cut in training camp to make the final 53-man roster. Let's see. Sandy B says no taxes in Alaska. Well, there's no NFL teams in Alaska either, so probably wouldn't be applicable. Mark Thomas says, I trust the new coaches to elevate the players and the new scheme on both sides to advance us in the playoffs. I do too. I trust it. I know Josh McDaniels, and I talked about that when we initially hired him. He had a little bit of a rough road in Denver, if you remember, about 10, 15 years ago. But I think he's matured. He's brought that up. He said, yeah, I screwed up. First thing he did was ship Jay Cutler out. Here he's kept Derek Carr. And then he created a lot of problems with Brandon Marshall, got rid of him too. And he only lasted like a season and a half, I believe, or season and 3/4. I don't even think he finished the 2nd season. So I think he's a lot more mature. I think going back and kind of licking his wounds, going back to the Patriots, as well as Dave Ziegler, I think he's imparted a lot of things. I was pretty happy with the draft picks we got. All things considering, we didn't have a pick in the 1st or 2nd round because of the Devontae trade. But what we got, I think we got a lot of versatility and a lot of value in some of these picks, especially with like Munford in the 7th round. That's unbelievable. If he can be at least even a viable swing tackle, a backup guy in the 7th round, that is value. But Tebow was his quarterback. Yeah, after he ran Jay Cutler out. That was one of the first things he did. He did have Tebow. I mean, you can say what you want about Tebow. He did win a playoff game, but I think that was kind of more of a gimmick than anything else. And honestly, if it wasn't, then he would have been picked up by somebody else. So let's see. I'm looking in here. More side conversations on TikTok. That's okay. You can have your side conversations as well. Again, if you are enjoying this, why not give it a thumbs up? It'll help the algorithm on TikTok and YouTube. And if you are enjoying what you're seeing right now, especially if you're watching this on a replay, why not subscribe? It's real simple, absolutely free. You just hit the subscribe button, you hit all to the bell notification. And then one more thing, because YouTube's kind of tricky. If you're watching this on your device, phone, tablet, you got to go to the notification settings and click that to on. And then you'll get all my notifications as soon as I launch either a video or a live stream in the future. You'll see that. So you won't miss a minute. So, and we're going to have a lot more fun with this. I had fun last season. We're kind of getting into the nitty gritty now. We're going to be going into mini camp, and then July we're going to be having training camp again. We're going to be starting a little bit earlier because we're in the Hall of Fame game, and then we can talk about the preseason. I don't think most, if not any of our starters are going to be playing that Hall of Fame game. We actually have 4 preseason games if you include that one. I don't really like that, to be honest with you, but I think that's going to be a lot of the rookies, the undrafted free agents, anybody trying to make the team. It's not really going to matter anyway. It's an exhibition, obviously. We probably won't see Derek Carr until the 2nd or 3rd game of preseason, to be honest. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff coming. You're right, Sandy B, and we do have a lot of fun. If you missed out on some of our mock drafts that we did. We go to various sites and do those. Those are very fun before the NFL draft. We also did the schedule predictions. If you weren't here for that, we had our grid out. We talked about each game, kind of figuring, of course, we don't know everything that's going to be happening between now and the season. There's still going to be a little bit of variability. We're not so sure, but we made our predictions. We got those. We're going to be taking a look at that again right before the season starts like we did last year. And then we're going to look at it again at the bye week to see how we did, and then at the end of the season. So, don't want to brag, but, I did a little bit better than you all, so you guys got to step up your game here in 2022. So, oh, you lost your signal, Raider Wolf. I'm sorry to hear that. So, like I said, be on board, subscribe, and watch what we do in the next few weeks, next few months. And again, once the season starts, we're going to be going mad crazy with all these live streams, and I'm going to be I come on at halftime of the game. You can be excited with me if we're doing well. You can vent with me if we're doing crappy. We can talk about what's going right, what's going wrong. And then later on, we'll do another live stream for a game review of the entire game, and I give my grades out for what we do. So you all can see my older videos. Yeah, if you want to again, if you want to be entertained and you want to hear me cussing and getting pissed off, there are a few games. The Miami game 2 years ago, that was one of my earlier videos. Don't mind the quality, it's not that good, but a lot of intensity. The Bears game and the New York Giants game last year. Look at those game reviews and have a nice little laugh. All right. Usually I go about an hour with this. That's what I like to do. I don't want to waste your time. We go over the subject matter and then we talk about it. I'll take any other questions or any comments that you have now, and then we'll kind of close this one out. Yeah, the Dolphins game 2 years ago with the Arden Key grabbing the Fitzpatrick, we basically pissed the game away. Yeah, I was a little upset. Check out the game, the review of that game. I was looking at the comments here. So, yeah, absolutely. So, if you have any other comments, suggestions, I'm open. If there's anything you want me to cover next week on the live stream specifically, I'll talk about that as well. But mainly, we're going to go over what happened in minicamp, if anything significant happened. And again, I'm expecting at least one free agent signing that we talked about. Again, this regime is very methodical. So again, we got to honestly, bottom line is we got to be patient and just trust it. So far, so good in my opinion. Sandy B says, what do you think about KC? Well, I have done a couple of videos. I did a State of the Division series. You can look at my playlist on YouTube. I have in a specific folder. I did one before the draft. I did one after the draft. Bottom line is, I think all the other teams have kind of closed that gap. They were really kind of the standout team head and shoulders about 2-3 years ago. Not so much anymore, but they're still the champions. I think they had an excellent draft, to be honest with you, which I don't necessarily like as a Raider fan, but I got to tell it like it is. And I went through that. I have a video on that, went into detail on that. They're still the champions of the AFC West, and they're the 8-time defending champions. So until somebody knocks them off, they're the team to beat in this division. That's the bottom line. Anybody have anything else you want to talk about before we sign off here? Raider Wolf says, I think Cheese won't be so scary against the new Raider team. Well, again, we have to prove it. Remember, guys, we went through a ton of turmoil last season. I think more so the players kind of pulled up their britches, so to speak, and got us those last 4 wins, or we wouldn't have been in the playoffs. All the crap that happened last season. Now we have a new regime. We do have some better weapons. Devontae on one side, and Chandler Jones is definitely an upgrade over Yannick Ngakoue. So the team looks better right now. We still have some holes and some questions, especially on that offensive line. I want to see how that plays out. I've told you what I think, how it's going to work out. It's kind of going that way so far, but we'll see. We'll see once we get to training camp. Yeah, the Chiefs. I know you meant the Chiefs. I didn't think you were talking about Green Bay. I figured it was an autocorrect. They're too good ass weapon. Where's Casey Hefe at? Okay, if you guys are new here, we have a kind of a friendly troll. His name is Casey Hefe. He likes to troll all the Raider content creators. Well, a lot of them. I've seen him around. He's all right. He's in good spirits, but he's usually here, and he'll probably come once we're talking about the Chiefs here. So. Where are you hiding at, Hefe? He'll be here. I guarantee it. He'll be here. And dollars to donuts, Chiefs week, he'll be here for the reviews and the previews. I mean, either way it goes down, I think he's a stand-up guy. We made that bet last season. He had to show up if we won. We didn't win. I let him say what he wanted to say. That was the deal. We had a little fun with it. He's respectful, and that's fine, And he even admitted he comes to the Raider content creators because the Chiefs content creators suck. They're not nearly as good as we are. I'm not tooting my horn. All of us, all the people doing Raider content, by and far, there's a lot of good creators out there, and much more so. I've looked around at other teams. And I'm like, what is this nonsense? So, yeah, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the back and forth. Don't mind it at all. So. Any players injured? What's his name? That undrafted free agent running back. He's out for the year. I can't think of his name. But other than that, I haven't heard anything as far as the injuries go. But I'm not sure. I don't think he would even made the team anyway. We're pretty loaded at running back, unless you're talking about reserves, practice squad. To be honest. Everything Raiders is better than the Kansas City Queens. Well, that's a nice way of saying it. So, all right, guys, we are almost at an hour here. We're at 50 minutes. I do appreciate you guys here. Thank you for coming. If you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up. Put your comments. If you're watching this on a replay, put your comments in the video because these live streams turn into videos. So put your comments below. I read just about every every comment that YouTube announces. Some exceptions, I'll get comments. Oh, YouTube says, oh, by the way, somebody commented 3 months ago. It's, oh, well, thank you very much. It doesn't matter now, right? But when I get them, I read them and I normally respond back as well. So I do appreciate you here. Incognito is currently not on the team, not on the books. He is a free agent. I saw you, Raider Wolf. I'm going to answer that real quick. I love the guy. I've said it before. I love his intensity. I think his body is giving out. He's probably going to hang him up, to be honest with you. And I don't know if he just came back for Gruden anyway. But honestly, I don't think, I think, what's he, like 38 now? I don't think he's old enough, or I don't think he's young enough. His body's taking too much hits. And it is what it is. But I love his intensity and his style of play. It's unfortunate. All right, guys, I'm going to close this out. Again, thank you guys for coming out here. And as always, see you next Friday. And as always, go Raiders.
Something with all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.